Oh, Warriors just
What?
traded for Jimmy Butler.
No way.
Well, good thing Jack had a kickball game.
A16, turn me up.
And just like that, the boys are back. Matt, Jack, and Brian bringing you along Fusion Section 400 midweek show. But not only is it the midweek show, it is Super Bowl week. The Eagles and Chiefs are down in New Orleans, getting ready for the big game. I can't wait. I can't wait. I got my Birds gear on. Brian, out of spite, pettiness, decked out in his Giants gear. Only rightfully so, I guess. But it is the last show before the Super Bowl, so we're obviously fired up. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's three guys on this podcast, and one of those three guys has made it to the Super Bowl. I think I did the math. What's that? 3 divided by 32. We had a 9% chance of having a guy on the pod get to the Super Bowl, and we cashed that 9% right there. Eagles in the Super Bowl. I can't wait to talk about it. We'll get into all the action a little bit later in the show. Have a little bit of NFL headlines to get through. Some winners and losers, as always. Obviously, huge Super Bowl talk. Ends always with the Michael of the week. You're going to want to stick around for this one. But first, a word from SeatGeek.
The calendar is flipped to 2025, and that means one thing. The sports action is heating up, and the best place to go to get tickets to playoff football, meaningful basketball games, and maybe some baseball soon is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Whether you're going to watch some Auburn Tigers play at Neville Arena, best team in college basketball, if you want to see the Birds probably choke in the playoffs at the Link, or maybe you want to buy some early spring training tickets for the spring, SeatGeek is the best place to go. Their one-of-a-kind platform makes finding the best deals easy. Use our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. You get $20 off your first purchase. That's a free beer and maybe some crab fries, maybe a hot dog on us. It's a great deal. Use our code. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
Thanks always to SeatGeek. For the quick word, we jump into some headlines specifically pertaining to the NFL. And we had an interesting report come out about an Australian game, an Australian football game. No, not rugby. No, not soccer. A NFL football game down under. Initial reports was the Eagles versus the Rams, with the Rams hosting them. 2 days later, which I don't know how this floated around for 2 days as fake news, but the Eagles denied the Australian game. So what we know now is the Rams will host a game in 2026 in Australia, currently looking for an opponent to take them on. I know Brian has some more details on this game down under.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the original report was to even, or who wrote it to say the Eagles were playing in this game, but it
Wild.
was a bunch of baloney. I did see allegedly that the Rams wanted to make it a home game for the Eagles, but considering the first report seems like a sham, I don't know how much I'm going to believe that one. It's very weird, but the Giants are an away team of the Rams in 2026, so maybe I'll get to see the Giants in Australia, which I guess is a good thing. Well, what's the time difference there? 22 hours?
No, so that's going to be about a 16-hour difference. So I was going to stop you right there. Are you sure you want to send your team? I mean, the Giants will probably still be a disaster dumpster fire, so it won't
Well,
matter
that's
too
the
much.
that's the idea. I just won't
Yeah,
have to worry about that week. If
for
they're on
sure.
at 4 a.m., like never happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a 16-hour difference, I think.
I don't know why Philly would even be in the conversation. Like I know they went down to South America to play the first game of the season last year. I feel like that was a big enough trip for them. Having them go all the way out to Australia, dude, send Seattle. Send the Chargers, send the Rams. Like the Rams really do make sense, but send a West Coast team. Like what are we doing talking about bringing the Eagles out there?
Yeah,
Just make it Rams and Chargers. Just make it
I
Rams
think
Chargers.
think the Eagles would have to fly to or drive to JFK. I don't know. Philly's a big airport, but I don't know if they go direct to Australia.
They probably don't. Now, the Eagles have their own private chartered plane through American Airlines that is a ginormous jet. So I'm sure
I guess
it
it could
could
make it.
fly. It could make it nonstop. And again, a special chartered flight. It's an international airport. For the public, like the common man like us, we're not getting Australia one way nonstop. But for an NFL team, I think they can pull some strings to make it happen.
It's a lot of fuel
Yeah, I
It
was gonna say
definitely
and a
is.
lot of quads on that plane.
maybe a touchdown in LA before you
Yeah,
hop over the pond.
I think so. But we could take guesses on who the Rams are gonna play. I don't want to spend too much time on it. The only other thing I had is it's gonna be at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which is where they play cricket. So it'll be if you know a cricket stadium, I think it's like a huge circle or a huge oval. So
Yep.
that might be weird optically watching the game or how it's because the NFL field is kind of a big rectangle, and this is going to be a huge oval. So I don't know. Optics wise, it might look a little funky, but nonetheless, they're going to Melbourne, Australia. Which, if you're wondering what the heck, where the hell is Melbourne? They play the Australian Open, which is a major tennis tournament, one of the four majors they play in a year for men's and women's tennis. So that is the significance of that city for what it's worth. But yeah, NFL is headed down under.
They got Melbourne United, and I believe the locals call it Melbourne. I don't think the O exists in Australia, which also it's English. So I don't understand Australia. There's also like 5 different time zones across the continent. But
Yeah, I've never been, so I don't know.
yeah, they split it up in like
I
it's a
pro-
weird place.
I probably butchered the name of the city. I don't care. I'm not going.
Do you see
But
their fans during that tennis tournament? They don't deserve to have their name.
they are unbelievable, dude. They're just as reckless or more reckless than the American fans. The Americans are usually the ones who have to be kept calm. But also, and again, not to go down a tennis rabbit hole, but the French fans get out of control as well.
Yeah, well, French people are just
That
we've
must
talked
mean a
about French
lot. You know,
people.
French fans must get crazy because that's coming
They
from a
get
Philly
nuts.
fan. That's coming
Yeah,
from an Eagles fan right now.
dude, it's the French Open. They have it. It's coming up. It's the next major. It's coming up here. Do they play in April, March, or April? I'm not sure, but you'll be on the lookout for that. Look, we're not doing that. We have a lot to get to here, guys. But to wrap up some NFL talk, we have some guys who are officially announced. One personal announcement, the other the team announced. Myles Garrett requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns, said he's not going Cleveland to Canton. He wants to win a Super Bowl. Not going to happen anytime soon on Cleveland. And then Cooper Kupp, who wanted to spend his career with the Rams, who maybe wanted to go LA to Canton, has been told that the team is looking to trade him. So two different scenarios, two guys likely to be traded. I'll give it up to you guys. Where is Myles Garrett going to go? What's his asking price? What is he going to require to land the best the best defensive end in football and arguably the best defensive player?
Yeah, I mean, this guy has been in the depoy conversation and has won a couple depoys over the past, I want to say like 6, 7 years now. He's just been at the top of the game. It's probably been a decade. Excuse me, Myles Garrett. But dude, I mean, I would still think that he requires. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, in my opinion, is above the level of a Khalil Mack who went for 2 first-round picks. I think he's above the level of a Minkah Fitzpatrick, even though Minkah's great, who I believe demanded a first-round pick. He's a DB, but this is one of the best players in the game. He's going to require 2 first-round picks.
Easily.
He's very old though.
Is he? He's not very old.
He's got to be 30 at least.
I think you can get three elite best player in the NFL, best defensive player in the NFL style years out of Myles Garrett. Is that worth trading 3 first-round picks for? Is that worth trading, maybe an elite player and a pick? I don't know, but the asking price has to be high, and Cleveland's not just going to let this guy go for a bag of chips.
Yeah, so he's 29. He'll be 30 when we wrap up Bolmus next year.
So he'll get more than half a year at the age of 29 in there.
Yeah, I guess you need to find a team that's like ready to compete for a Super Bowl next year.
Definitely.
I think I know a team.
Okay, no, the Eagles, they can't have any picks left.
Howie Roseman is a master. He is a master. I mean, look, he's the best GM in football. It's not even close. This guy is known for wheeling and dealing. That is in his blood. If you're telling me that, if you're going to write it off, Brian, I mean, you wrote
I'm
off
gonna write it off.
Saquon. You wrote off Saquon wouldn't happen, and it happened.
Yeah, Brian, you're
Myles
playing it.
Garrett.
Well, that was free agency. That wasn't. They didn't have to give up anything besides a ridiculously low amount of money that no one else wanted to pay him for.
You're playing a dangerous game, Brian.
Dangerous game. Howie Roseman, 100% absolutely can get this done. How many times have you guys seen over the past couple of years where it's like, there's no way? How the heck did the Eagles get this guy? And they pulled it off.
Exactly.
And it's got progressively like there's no way
not
bar
happen.
has gotten higher and higher. And Brian still is just, oh my God. I'm
Am
glad
I gonna
you're
do it
playing the game.
again? I think this is even more of a stretch than Saquon.
Is
I
it
don't
though?
want to do it again.
Dude,
I hated my life in week 1 last year, but I might have to because that's how much I believe he's not going to the Eagles.
If they give I always forget the guy on the Jets that they got.
Do
Huff?
they have
Bryce Huff.
enough cap space to sign a guy like Myles Garrett?
Cap
I mean, they
space
have
isn't real. Cap space isn't real.
but
Yeah,
but
Howie
even with
Roseman is the master of cap, dude.
even with all the young guys that they have on that defensive side of the football, like are any of them due to get paid anytime soon?
Milton Williams, I could see Milton Williams walking. Jalen Carter still, he'll probably get paid at the end of next year. Maybe, and I think he still has a year under as well. You can clear Josh Sweat off your books. Brandon Graham will be off the books at the end of this year. Darius Slay will be off the books. He's commanding a large part. I think Graham and Slay alone, you can make a case that Myles Garrett, replaces both of those guys. I mean, Slay's close to 20 mil. I mean, let's talk about this. What does Myles Garrett command? I mean, is he a $30 million a year player? I mean, what is he going to make per year? And then we can talk about because if he's a $30 million guy, you clear off Brandon Graham and Darius Slay, you now have enough money to go after the guy.
I think he still has a few years left.
And if he wants to play for a Super Bowl that he proclaims he wants to do, you're not telling me he's going to work with the Eagles to get the job done?
It's not his decision.
And you're going to sit here.
That's the difference
between
between this and Saquon Barkley. It's
you.
not his decision.
Signing the contract is absolutely his decision.
The Browns need to trade him first.
Okay, and the Eagles offer 2 first-round picks and that Huff guy.
But I'm not saying.
Who else is it?
My thing is, I don't think they have the first-round capital to offer.
They definitely do. We have to know what the Eagles picks are coming up.
But are they going to want to? Are the Browns going to want to take 2 picks that are probably at the end of the draft for Myles Garrett?
Eagles are in win now mode. They know they have a window with Saquon Barkley.
It makes sense for the Eagles, but I'm saying for the Browns, I don't think it makes sense to trade Myles Garrett to the Eagles. There's probably teams that would give you more.
I would agree with that.
Okay, we'll see.
I think
Howie Roseman said,
"I'm not the Commanders." That's what I'm rooting for.
Howie Roseman said, "I'm not commenting about a player that's currently under contract," which just screams villain. Howie Roseman is ready to strike. This isn't NFL franchise mode on Madden where you just click trade and go. Players have feelings.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You can't just like the Browns aren't going to make a trade.
You can't just make the trade.
Optimizing them. Yes,
I know, and I'm saying to you that Myles Garrett isn't just going to sit there with his fucking hands under his ass and say, okay, ready to get traded wherever you want to send me that makes you the better team. I'll go play for a bottom 3 team because they gave you the best capital and the best picks. Like, am I crazy for thinking that
he doesn't have a choice?
That he's just not going to cause a scene?
He can cause a scene, but the Browns aren't going to care. They're not going to win anyway.
Right.
Jack, what do you think, man?
Brian
and I are way off on this, and that's fine.
I definitely look. You guys are both making very valid points to the point where we're not the GM or ownership of the Browns. We're not Myles Garrett. We don't know the inner workings of that situation and how much they're on a good page or not. Because if they're not on a good page and like they really want to say F you to Myles Garrett, which I don't think is the case, they could absolutely do what Brian is suggesting. But with what Myles Garrett has given them, he's been a good player for them, a franchise guy. He's saying, look, I'm giving you guys 8 years of my life, of my defensive player of the year sort of performance. Trade me to a team that I can actually go win a championship with. Do right by me after I've done right by you for 8 years. I think, to Matt's point, that could absolutely happen as well. I really just don't know where they're at right now.
Yeah, and based on what he said about wanting to go win a Super Bowl, I don't want to go from Cleveland to Canton. I want to win a Super Bowl, and maybe he said I want to win a couple Super Bowls. But so if that's the goal, like he's a smart enough guy to know that if he goes to a team, oh, this team gave us a top 10 pick. The team with the top 10 pick probably doesn't have a great shot to win the Super Bowl. We'll wait and see, man. We don't need to go 15 rounds on this. You think what you think, I think what I think. That's fine too to settle it at that. Cooper Kupp's also out there, and he is a guy I could see go to the Commanders. That makes a lot of sense. Another team I think is get rid of Keenan Allen and send him to the Bears. Maybe send him to the Jaguars as a nice compliment to Brian Thomas Jr. There's a lot more teams out there where I think it makes a lot more sense, and you're really not swinging the needle as crazy as you might be with Myles Garrett. But I'll let you guys kind of jump in on that.
Yeah, definitely not swinging the needle as much. He's not commanding 2 first-round picks. I mean, this isn't as you're not making a huge investment to get Cooper Kupp, I don't think. I don't think you're going to have to, I know they're looking for a trade, so whether that's players, whether that's picks, I don't think he commands a first-round pick, if we're being completely honest.
He might get cut. He might not command anything.
Right. But I also think that him on the Jaguars would be a good thing for us. We definitely have a younger receiver room. I think him coming in there, teach Brian Thomas a thing or two would be very beneficial. Liam Cohen also spent some time in Los Angeles under Sean McVay and working with Cooper Kupp. So I could see that reunion happening. And I'm sure, leaving LA won't be easy for Kupp, but Jacksonville's not a bad secondary spot.
Yeah, and Kupp, that's not his decision.
Jacksonville to LA.
No,
yeah,
I didn't do that.
One of those cities isn't on fire, Brian.
I didn't make the comparison.
Yeah, I'll go low.
I just think, and that's fine. Go low all you want, Jack.
I'll go low.
I'm not in this. Brian, this is all Brian right here. I think Jacksonville would be a great spot for Cooper Kupp, and I love the connection with Liam Cohen. And I think, with an offensive mind, we saw how dynamic the Buccaneers offense was. Cooper Kupp could fit in really nicely on this team.
I don't mind the fit with the Jaguars. I'm not going to get past comparing the city of Jacksonville to Los Angeles. But that's fine. We don't have to.
We're not going to go 15 rounds on cities here.
I'm ready if you are, brother.
Before we move on, Jack, can we get your best Liam Cohen Duval really quick?
You want my Liam Cohen version?
Yeah, I do.
Duval.
52.7% accuracy.
What? That was killer.
I don't think you. I don't know, Brian. Your thoughts? Could have been better.
See, I could have been better, but it's also Liam Cohen set the bar pretty low. So it's an interesting dynamic of making it sound like Liam Cohen and making it sound good sounding like Liam Cohen. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's too much.
You also left out, didn't he start it? And I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know the exact words. Wasn't he like Jacksonville, the fans, the community, Duval?
I think you did a much better one than me. The problem is that I have too much legitimacy behind my Duvals that it kind of gets. I can't do the Liam Cohen one. I'm just trying to do the normal one.
That's fine. It was meant to be quick and easy. That's the trade block right now before the Super Bowl is wild. We haven't even gotten into NFL draft talk. We haven't even gotten into other guys who might get traded around. But I think we're gearing up for one of the most wild off seasons. And I know it's crazy to say after the Saquon Barkley saga last year, but we are gearing up for a wild, as we always do, but this year specifically, wild NFL offseason. I'm excited for the NFL draft with some of the big names at the top of that board. Some big name players on trading blocks already before the Super Bowl. It's gearing up for it. You're going to want to stick around here up in section 400. We'll have all the reaction to the action as we gear closer to that. But we do have a Super Bowl this Sunday. We'll get into that talk in just a bit. It's now time for the segment of all segments. The segment that Brian loves, Jack loves, and I love. You don't usually all agree on one thing. But it's the winners and losers of the week. And I want to start with Brian because not only does he have a good winner for us, but he has some breaking news that we can also discuss pertaining to the world of basketball.
Yeah, well, in a week with the Super Bowl that's normally dominated by the NFL, the National Basketball Association has somehow stayed in the headlines. They decided to put their trade deadline smack in the middle, and we've had some action. We reacted to the Luka Doncic trade. Then we had De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs happen, I think, about 30 minutes after we finished our recording on the last show, unfortunately. Kyle Kuzma got traded to the Bucks today. Daniel Tice got traded to the Thunder. I think they only had to part with one of their 72 first-round picks. And right before we recorded today, Jimothy Butler, Mr. I Sell Coffee in the Bubble, for Andrew Wiggins. He is teaming up with Steph Curry.
For anybody who didn't get that, Jimmy Butler is what Brian was going for there. But if you didn't get that, you're probably not watching.
I think I said Jimothy Butler, right?
Jimothy
Butler at the end. Jimothy Butler.
Came off a little weird, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something as I was going, and it never came to me.
Either way, Jimmy Butler for Andrew Wiggins, is that the biggest deal? No. Luka Doncic is. But Jimmy Butler, who's been causing a scene the last week or so, finally gets his wish. Maybe the NFL guys don't control it, but the NBA guys sure as hell do. Butler headed to the Warriors for Wiggins, you said. Will be interesting to see him paired up with Draymond. I think last week, I said this? I was like, Jimmy Butler could be a great fit. Didn't love the Draymond aspect that I completely forgot about, but if you watched the last pod, we did some predictions. Yeah, Jimmy Butler's going there. What also I found interesting is Brian Windhorst tweeted out, and he said Jimmy Butler's camp and Jimmy Butler himself communicated with the Warriors that he was unwilling to sign an extension. The Warriors wanted to sign him to an extension. Butler didn't want the extension. So talks died down. There were no talks anymore, and it looked like he wasn't going to go there. Lo and behold, right before this recording, Jimmy Butler is on his way to Golden State, and not only is he on his way, Brian, I believe he signed the said extension that he wasn't going to sign.
Yeah, apparently he signed a 2-year deal worth $120 million.
Holy smokes.
It's a good chunk of cash.
For a guy
cash.
Yeah, for a guy that just got suspended for missing practice and then leaving practice and sitting out games, and you're going to give him $60 million over 2 years?
Yeah, well, look, Steve Kerr he's wrangled in Draymond Green for a decade. I think he can handle Jimmy Butler. I really say that with full confidence. And I know they're different animals, but yeah, look, Jimmy's going to be happy playing with Steph, with Draymond. You know, it's going to be a lot better than what he had in Miami. And honestly, you know, Steve Kerr, the new ownership, it might be a lot better than what he was dealing with Pat Riley. I feel like they had lost a step in their relationship. They're never getting back. So I'm happy for Jimmy moving on. But I got to give you, Brian, I really got to give you some credit. You kind of sniped first of all, Matt sniped Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. But then, Brian, you sniped Jimmy Butler for Andrew Wiggins. Look, we're on fire right now.
Always.
Yeah. So was Pat Riley. He made this deal, and I guess that's also a Heat pun, but he made this deal, and then he just traded, sold the trademark of three-peat, which he somehow owned, to the NFL. So big week for Pat Riley.
Damn.
Yeah, somewhere lost in there, Brian had a winner of the week.
It was the NBA for staying in the headlines.
Staying in the headlines for the ratings, you know, really kind of being at an all-time low, probably since the league was first created. I don't know, but yeah, I guess props. Is it in the headlines for the right reasons or wrong reasons? I don't know.
Well, it was in the headline for the wrong reasons at one point this week. One of the guys that did get traded from the Warriors in this trade, Dennis Schroeder, he compared the NBA trade deadline to modern slavery.
Hmm.
He
Interesting.
said it's like modern slavery. It's modern slavery at the end of the day. Everyone can decide where you're going, even if you have a contract. Yeah, of course, we make a lot of money. Jimmy Butler's case, $60 million a year, and we can feed our families, maybe some caviar. But at the end of the day, if they say you're not coming to work tomorrow, you're going over there, they can decide that. They got to change that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if I, the money aspect will always outweigh whatever you think. I mean, you get all that cash, all that money. Maybe it's tougher for the guys who are in bench roles that just get traded around like a bag of chips on the schoolyard. But you know, it's tough to feel bad because even those reserve guys are getting high six figures, low millions of dollars.
Yeah, I don't think Schroeder got the memo that we collectively ended racism now that they're no longer on the end zones in the Super Bowl.
Yes, we did. And side note, the NFL is changing that this week.
Yeah,
It's not.
they're
It's not going.
they're
It's not going
gone.
to say. It's not going to say end racism anymore. What would they say?
Yeah,
What's it going to
we ended
say?
racism. They're gone.
I know they're gone. What is it going to say? Love all or some shit?
Oh, I didn't know they were changing it. I just thought they were going back to normal end zones with
No,
no messaging.
they're still gonna have something up there.
I
I
did
just
not
don't
hear
think
anything about this.
I don't think it's gonna say end racism though. It's gonna say something else. But yeah, good stuff there, Bry, on the winner jack. Who do you have winning the week?
Yeah, so this one, it might come as a shock, but I'm actually going to go with the Ole Miss Rebels.
Hmm.
And I know that they lost to Auburn on Saturday. So they have a loss this week, but how they played in that game, final score lost by 10, but that was much closer than a double-digit loss. They played us really well, and then they hosted Kentucky, 14th in the country, and absolutely wiped the floor with them in a big bounce back spot for them after losing to Auburn. So I got to say, I was really impressed with Ole Miss in the game against Auburn. Very, very impressed in the win against Kentucky, and I really do think that they're going to be a hard out come tournament time.
It was Matt's sleeper team, or maybe it was going to
Yep,
be your sleeper team.
I
It
think it
was,
was.
but our guy who used to be here had him and didn't make it through the NBA or NCAA season. But yeah, I like them a lot. Also through Little Rock out there. Make sure you tune into Bracketology. Brian and I are heating it up a lot. But yeah, I do like Ole Miss. Is it Chris Beard is their head coach, the old Texas A&M guy or Texas Tech
Yep, Chris
guy?
Beard.
Yeah, so I like the way he plays. They have some great guys that got in the portal. We don't need to get into it too much, but yeah, Ole Miss could be a dangerous team come March. The SEC is just really tough. So, a loss to Auburn, I don't think is really, making you a bad team. We know the juggernaut that Auburn is this year.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the last episode too. I think Auburn played their best game of the season against Ole Miss, and they had to win
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah, so don't count out Ole Miss and a good winner there nonetheless for you, Mr. Jack. I will hit my winner of the week this week with still staying on par with college basketball, but it will be the fans who really truly love the game and Dick Vitale as he is returning to broadcasting this week, Saturday night, for the Duke Clemson game. February 8th, this Saturday, he's back for the first time in 3.5 years. If you remember, he had cancer, was out for a while, those 3.5 years. January 8th, he announced he was cancer free. And just about a month, maybe 5, 6 weeks, whatever you want to call it, he will be back courtside. The legendary Dick Vitale. I think he's a winner of the week, and all college basketball fans who love listening to him get to win the week as well. Brian, you big Dick Vitale guy? You don't really look too excited.
You a big
Well,
dick guy?
I mean,
Yeah,
grew
of
up listening to Dick, grew up watching Dick.
course.
But I don't think he got the memo that the ACC is no longer the best conference in college basketball, and ESPN just handing him these games. He should be at the Jungle on Saturday. It's Auburn, Florida.
I 1000% agree with that. I mean, I was going to ask, is this at Cameron Indoor? Is that like a stadium he really likes or something like that?
Look,
Because
Duke Clemson should still be a good game, although Clemson lost outright at home to Georgia Tech as a minus 800 money line favorite. So we can forget about that. Their second game of the week will be Dick Vitale calling the game. Duke Clemson, I mean, it should be a good game. I think the jungle for Auburn, Florida would be way too ruckus and rowdy for 85-year-old first game back in 3.5 years, Dick Vitale. I think that might be too rowdy for the guy, Brian.
He hasn't been on the sideline in years. Let him put him right into the fire. Let him have some
He's
fun.
85, dude. He's not 65.
Yeah, 85, not 95. He's got a couple
get him
good
a
years
warm-up
left.
game.
I don't know, man. That I think they're taking some precaution there, and I think rightfully so, because that'll be a rowdy game. But yeah, that's my winner of the week. Nonetheless, so special to see a legend of the broadcasting community make his way back cancer-free, 85 years old. Is he retiring? Is he enjoying his glory years? No. He's right back on the sidelines, calling what he loves, and that's Duke and Clemson this Saturday night. So definitely looking forward to that. But that's the winners of the week. We'll jump into now the losers of the week. I started with Brian. Jack, we'll kick it off over to you. I know you usually like the losers better than the winners. So what do you got?
Drake. Drake is my loser of the week.
Love a little
Oh,
culture
okay,
loser.
I thought you were saying it, or you were keeping it on brand with college basketball for a second, but
Oh,
Jack
no,
don't
no,
even
little-
know about Drake, dog.
Little
they're a 12 seed.
little pop culture reference for you guys.
I got
know,
it right away.
I know Brian's the biggest fan of the Grammys ever, so
Yeah.
I had to bring in some Grammy talk in this one. So Kendrick Lamar won Record of the Year for his diss track on Drake. Not only did he win Record of the Year, it won Song of the Year. Both like two of the biggest awards you can win at the Grammys: Record of the Year, Song of the Year. A diss on Drake. Drake lost the lawsuit to try and prevent Kendrick from playing this song at the Super Bowl, which is happening this Sunday. And he's going to do it again. So Kendrick Lamar is Drake's number one, enemy or whatever you want to call it, nemesis, just on top of the world this week. 2 Grammys and a Super Bowl performance.
You got 5 total.
Oh, we got 5 total Grammys?
Yeah, he's now 2
God
behind
damn.
Jay-Z and Kanye for the most by a rapper. So your boy Jay-Z is a little bit of a hot seat there.
Look, he should be nowhere near the 2 of them, but I'm not going to get into Grammy talk.
Oh,
right
you
now.
could argue he'd be closer because Macklemore won Album of the Year over Good Kid, Mad City. But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. The one thing I didn't like about watching him win, which also the first ever Record of the Year that was a diss track, when it got to the A minor part, the whole crowd filled with celebrities that song is really inherently about sang along to A minor. And it was cool, like, knowing Drake probably hated that, but also, like, a little self-awareness there, people.
Yeah. No, I'm also not going to sit here and just bash on everybody there, but the majority of them, probably need to be a little bit more self-aware.
Taylor Swift was having a good time, though. She raised her glass to Kendrick, and apparently she's a big Kendrick fan. You know what? Let's get it back to football talk a little bit here. Kendrick is Patrick Mahomes right now, fighting the Tom Brady of the rap legacy.
Who is the Tom Brady?
Jay.
See, it's tough because a lot of the good ones all died early.
Right. I got you. It's definitely that can be, there's no, I guess the statistics you would go by is, Grammy Awards is kind of the way you judge their careers. But yeah, I don't know. Kendrick's pretty fucking good. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of other good ones. So I don't know. It's a good question.
Eminem doesn't have a Grammy, if that puts it into perspective. So I don't really think that's the greatest.
Doesn't
That's
have
like
a single one?
It's like an
Well,
all-star.
then
It's
what
like
Gotta
an
have a
all-star
Grammy.
game.
then
Bro.
what is? How else do you judge these guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I don't know. I wasn't saying. I guess that's the way you do it.
For
I just
all-
thought that would be the way you get it done. Or you're like with players, we look at, championships and statistics.
Yeah, well, this is the whole
All
other
right,
thing
I take
too,
it back.
'cause-
He's got 15 Grammys.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he had a few.
Yeah, dude. Like you
But-
can relax with that.
Yeah, because the whole
I'll
Drake
tell you
Kendrick
what,
beef
though.
All
was
star game.
I'll
my
tell
ass.
you what, though. There's so many videos out there of Eminem just going like, Fuck the Grammys. I'm never showing up to one of those. They can nominate me, give me as many awards as they
He
want.
might
I'm
have
never showing up. Like it's a terrible organization. It's this blah blah blah. Like, so I don't believe in them. But
he might have gotten robbed a few times when he should have won one and didn't. But yeah, I mean, 15 is 15. I don't know who's got the most all time, but 15 seems like it's up there.
Beyonce has 35.
Oof.
But this was the whole thing with the Drake Kendrick beef. Drake's like, I win all these Grammys, I get all these streams, and Kendrick's like, well, I'm the better rapper. But for the sake of the 5 diehard rap fans that are listening to this, I feel like we have to mention Biggie and Tupac, along with Jay-Z, along with like Andre 3000, Method Man, and Nas. I feel like that's like we're at the top. And I probably forgot one that people are going to yell at me for.
yeah, there's no 4 faces on Mount Rushmore, buddy.
Well, before you get into your 4 faces, where does Kanye fall in the mix?
He's a pop artist.
Pop. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking, but Jack seems to not like that one, Brian. I don't know. I'm just the moderator here, but Jack seems to have a big problem.
I love Kanye. Kanye's my favorite artist of all time, but I would put him in pop more than I would rap.
Oh.
I think he had like two definite rap albums. I think you could even put Graduation in the pop category.
Is determining rap to pop kind of up for like interpretation?
Yeah, I mean, rap pop is a thing.
Yeah,
maybe
like
Kanye falls in
opinion
that.
Based. I don't know. Jack was not a fan.
We need to get back.
He's experimental. Like, how are you going to call Yeezus a rap album?
I didn't.
Okay.
Well, you had a big problem with Brian calling him a pop star and not a rapper.
He is a rapper. Call him a pop star is absolutely disrespectful. Like, we're not like.
It's not disrespect. Pop. Taylor Swift's a pop star. Beyonce's a pop star. Like, these people are huge. I'm just saying, Kanye. Like, I feel like
they're nothing like Kanye West.
I think they have a lot of similarities in their music. Like,
they aren't, but pop can be different and still be a pop star, right? Like,
yeah, like the Beatles were inherently started as a rock band and they turned into pop just because they were experimental and they set trends. That's what Kanye does.
So you're gonna sit here and tell me Beyonce is a country star?
No, she's a pop star and she had a country album.
She just won Country Artist of the Year, bro.
Well, that's the Grammys fault. That's the Grammys.
I think that's a farce. Chopping it up, Jack. 10 seconds. Your Mount Rushmore. Go.
I'll give them to you real quick. It's Jay-Z, it's Kanye, it's J. Cole, and
not Kendrick. I think would be crazy.
I'd probably have to put Pac in there. That personally.
You're gonna put J. Cole in there over Kendrick?
Yeah, absolutely. That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
J. Cole just sat out of the beef because he didn't want to get hurt by Kendrick.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with this.
Bro,
we're done with this. We're done. Shut it down.
The correct answer is Nas, Andre 3000, Jay-Z, and Kendrick Lamar.
And that's it. We're shutting it down. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. We are way over time limit on this, guys. This is not the pop culture show. But let us know in the comments. Let's get crazy in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Who's your route at Mount Rushmore of rap, of pop? Give us both. We want to know. We're very curious. Jack and Brian are on 2 different sides of the aisle on this one. Let us know to bridge the gap. Let us know.
He's never going to look at me the same.
He's never going to look at me the same. I mean, that was crazy, dude. That was crazy. I think pop star is a little nuts.
I want to slap you for that.
All right, we're done. We're done. Brian, you got to Jack, you did loser. See, I lose track when we do these rabbit holes. Brian, you have a loser you got to get to?
Yeah, apparently MLB employed people can't stop gambling. We had an umpire, Pat Hoiberg. I think it's Hoiberg. I guess it's spelled with an O instead of O-I. He had a friend that he would text to place bets on baseball. But apparently they weren't baseball games that he was umpiring directly. Or there's no evidence that he bet on baseball games, but there is evidence that his friend that he texted to place bets on his account bet on baseball games.
That's what it was. I did actually see this story. Hobarth, you said his name was? I forget the last name.
I think it's Hoiberg.
Whatever it is, I did see the story. He started umpiring MLB games back in 2014. So had a solid 10 or so year run calling games. And that was the report. There was no evidence that he was actually gambling, but his friend was placing bets on his account. So pretty weird dynamic there. I didn't see much about, was the guy umpiring on the games betted on? Was he not? Either way, the MLB is standing by their decision, and that guy's out of baseball, most likely for life. Going to probably have to stick to the little league or high school fields for the rest of his umpiring career if he chooses to stick to this career path.
Yeah, nothing that gets offered on FanDuel or DraftKings.
Nope.
Well, you never know in 5 years.
Maybe he goes to Europe, Japan, Korea, gets a gig over there. I'm not sure, but it won't be in the MLB.
High school ball.
Maybe Dominican League, Mexican League.
Japan after he meets Ipe in prison.
That's what I'm saying. It won't be there. But good stuff there. My loser of the week. One specific, I guess I go back-to-back college basketball here, but it's going to be Bobby Hurley. I don't know if you saw the game between Arizona and Arizona State, but before the final buzzer, Hurley made a really unusual decision to pull his team, which is Arizona State, off the court and sent them directly to the locker room. Kind of waved off the Arizona head coach, Tommy Lloyd, really created a weird post-game tense atmosphere that, this is a rival game. Sure, it's not Auburn, Alabama. Sure, it's not Duke, UNC, but it's Arizona versus Arizona State. That's a rival game. That's a big game. And to pull your team off the court in that game, I think is a wild move. Big L for Bobby Hurley. Embarrassing, petty, all the above. Big L for Bobby Hurley, and really just an embarrassing look for not only the school, but the program, the whole 9 yards.
I don't think there's enough room in sports for three, I guess, royal families, you'd call them. We saw the renaissance of the Ball family. The Jameses obviously are doing their thing, and now the Hurleys are in shambles. All three at once can't be thriving.
I guess not, but have we ever seen anything like this before where, dude, this is a rivalry. This is like Bruce Pearl pulling Auburn off the court after they're about to lose to Alabama. This is that's what this kind of was. Maybe not to that extent, but kind of to that extent. That's what it was.
Did he give reasoning as to why he pulled his team off the court?
I don't know the exact reasoning. I just know that he pulled the team. Maybe they were losing by a lot. I honestly probably should have looked into that a little bit more, but I just know he pulled the team off the court before the final buzzer, which is all you need to know. Just an embarrassing look for the program.
Yeah, the only way that I can't say that you can really justify that with anything.
That's what I'm saying. Him giving a reason doesn't matter because there's no justification. The bottom line, it just comes down to kind of integrity for the game, sportsmanship, honoring, what it means to be a college coach. At a maybe not a prestigious school, but that's a D1 power conference school, and you're yanking them off the court. That's CYO type move right there. You don't do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you took back your prestigious, because Arizona State might be the least Power 4 school that you'd use that adjective for.
Yeah, but the job itself can be prestigious. Everybody dreams to be a D1 college coach, and whether it's the best one or the worst one, it's still technically a power conference. Now, is it really one? That's up for interpretation. It's technically a power conference.
Yeah, no, what are they in the? I don't even know. Big 12 now?
I guess there's no Pac-12, so there's no way they're independent.
I think they're Big 12.
There's no way they're independent. And the Big 12, I think.
Yeah, no,
they're the one, dude. The Big 12 has 19 teams in it. I looked the other day, there's so many teams.
Yeah, I was writing SEC power rankings the other day for basketball, and I forgot about Oklahoma and Texas. So I was using my template from last year, and I got to one. I'm like, I still have 4 teams left. To this day, conference realignment is just.
It's crazy, man. We're used to 10, 11, 12 schools. Now it's, 18 schools in one conference, 19 schools. It's crazy. But nonetheless, that's the winners and losers of the week. Hope everybody enjoyed. Stay tuned for next week to see who won and lost the week. It is now time to jump in to the big game, the Super Bowl Eagles Chiefs coming up next. We're back. The Super Bowl 59 preview just so happens to have my Philadelphia Eagles playing in a revenge rematch game against what seems to be unbeatable Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes going for a three-peat. Would be the first time ever done in the history of the NFL Super Bowl. It's the whole thing. If you guys don't know, our roundtable is dropping, Brian, today,
It's out now.
tomorrow. Oh, it is already out. Bang! Roundtable's out. I think we should talk about that a little bit, tease it a little bit, and just let the people know where we're leaning. We'll also get into some favorite props, and really, this is just going to be maybe not a chilled discussion, but a little more laid back. We're just talking Super Bowl here. Bunch of guys talking football, but Brian, you want to get into the roundtable a little bit here and then go into it?
Yeah, I asked you guys six questions.
You had 6 questions. It's usually 5, but since this is the big game, Brian added one for us,
Yeah, well, the extra one was the halftime. What would be the first song? And we actually got a lot of different answers, and
which is awesome.
yeah, I think everyone besides Colin, who's the youngest on the staff, picked a song, at least one from. No, no, you didn't pick one from Good Kid, Mad City, did you, Matt? You picked DNA and Humble.
Yeah, I had, or maybe I had Squabble Up as well. I'm not sure.
I think you had Squabble up on our other graphic, but either way, it's 6 questions. We asked the guys about the halftime show. We asked who would win MVP, favorite bet, which if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see mine behind me. You'll see it on the roundtable when you go read it, but also a disclaimer here. Every year I pick a first touchdown scorer. That's a long shot. And every year they score a touchdown, but it's not the first one. So this year I have Justin Watson. So he still has good juice to score a touchdown, but maybe just don't take him first touchdown. Just in
What
the past,
is
I've had,
what is the juice for any time? Do you know?
I think it's still like plus 1,200. He's plus 7,000 to score the first touchdown.
What?
Damn.
Yeah, my past years I've had Kyle Juszczyk for first touchdown at like plus 10,000. He scored the second touchdown. I had Marquez Valdez-Scantling last year for first touchdown. He scored like the fourth. That happened to be the go-ahead touchdown. And then 2 years ago, I had Tony, I believe, and he scored a touchdown. So,
Yeah, I mean,
unluck or luck, but fair warning, take Justin Watson to score a touchdown, just not the first one.
Brian, do you want to go through these picks one by one here, or what do you want to do?
No, we don't have to go through them all because I want people to go out and read it for themselves.
I definitely do. But yeah, Brian asked us a bunch of questions pertaining to the big game here on Sunday. Mine might have been Eagles heavy. There's some anti-Eagle fans in the team. There's also other Eagle fans on the team. So there's a good mix of where everybody's leaning on this game. I don't think I was too crazy other than maybe some hurt stuff, but we'll get into that in just
You
a
would think
couple.
that, but some people agreed with you. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say what the question
Don't
was
tell me who.
or what it
Don't
was
tell
about.
the people who. Everybody head over to viewsfromsection400.com. Check out the Super Bowl Roundtable. It is live now, as Brian said. Make sure you go check it out. I thought maybe I was a little crazy, maybe a little bird's bias. Brian telling me the team agreeing with me. I think we know where Brian's leaning on this, as he's all over Justin Watson for his touchdown. He picked the Chiefs to win it all. I don't know where Jack's at. I know he's not a big Eagle guy, so probably Chief heavy from him as well. But yeah, head over to viewssection400.com. Check out the roundtable. The entire staff, a staff special on this big game roundtable. So make sure you check all that stuff out. I do want to jump into some favorite props now. I know we can go so many different ways with this. And not only so many different ways, you can take action on the game. You can take action off the game, but related to the game. I don't know where you guys are leading, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I think the Eagles are winning this game. One thing that I found was some kind of power index where ESPN has the Eagles as a 56% chance to win, but all the books are favoring the Chiefs. I'll take the power index. I think the Eagles do get this done. Plus 1.5 is the line. You can get their money line at even odds, which I guess would that be plus 100 makes it even odds,
Yeah,
right?
I guess that's
You
even.
It's just
bet 10
even.
to win 10.
Yeah, 10 to
Yeah.
win 10. It's just even. So I don't know. They might literally just put even in the box when you click on it on the betting sites. But I think the Eagles get their revenge, man. I really do. I have the gut feeling that they're going to get this done. I really don't think they're going to lose. I am confident. I am optimistic. I think Saquon Barkley will be the difference maker. He will be. We have special weapon X. The Eagles are familiar with this building, having already won in this building this year. It is Patrick Mahomes. It's. I understand. I understand. I'm a mixed emotions, but I'm confident the Eagles get it done. My favorite prop, just so you can enjoy the whole game, enjoy the outcome. Eagles plus 1.5. Do you guys agree or disagree with where the biased Eagles fan is taking his pick?
Um. Okay. Well, I'll start this off by saying I'm terrified that the Eagles are going to win, especially because Chewy just announced they're giving away 59,000 free dog treats to dogs in need. So the underdog Eagles are getting the dogs back on their side
Oh
after they
yeah.
were out for almost a decade. I am taking the Chiefs to win by 4.
Why?
Patrick Mahomes. I think
Chiefs to win by 4? Like where do you even come up with that?
I think we get the Eagles winning by 3, and then Patrick Mahomes takes them down and scores a touchdown to win the game, like he normally does. In terms of props, I like this might be a game. Obviously, I'm gonna bet it, and I'm gonna bet Justin Watson. I'm not gonna touch the Chiefs or the Eagles, although I am leaning Chiefs, and I have them in our bracket prediction, so I'm heavily rooting for the Chiefs. It's
It's
just
just
like
weird, man. Weird move by you.
it's just like you have Mahomes and you have the Eagles with Barkley. You have the Chiefs that have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in their last 18 playoff games against Saquon, who was 313 all-purpose yards away from a 3,000-yard season, which I don't know has ever happened, and that includes postseason and regular season. You have the Eagles' number one ranked defense against the best quarterback possibly of all time. It's just there's so many storylines butting each other's heads. But I hate both of the teams, and all of America hates both of the teams. So I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the game or hate the game, hate watch the game, root for the meteor strike. I don't know what I'm going to do about the Super Bowl. All I know is I'm going to enjoy the nachos on my table. I'm going to enjoy the company of my friends, and I'm going to enjoy the Sector 400 drinking game.
An all-time mini rant out of Brian there.
Wow.
Sounds like he's not going to enjoy the game.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're going to enjoy it at all, buddy.
I'm
And
gonna
it's
enjoy
why
the
maybe,
day of
just
the
real
Super
quick,
Bowl.
before I jump in, probably if you haven't checked out our drinking game, go check it out on our socials. Views from Section 400, official drinking game that we released for this Super Bowl. It's pretty harsh, man. If you're not have practice or some experience drinking going into this, I would get some these next couple days before, because I think Brian made this harsh because he's not going to be enjoying the game. I mean, it is no joke. If you're not ready for it, you could be down and out before halftime.
The halftime might be the end of a lot of people. If Kendrick Lamar plays swimming pools, which I believe he will, it's not going to be fun for.
And remind the people what happens if that happens.
All it says on the drinking game is to follow directions, which I would hope people can figure out what that means. It's just every time he says drink or drink, you
Right.
take a drink or a drink.
Yeah. I'm all on board with playing the game, man. I can't wait for the game. I know I said props that I gave out Eagles plus 1.5. My excitement got the better of me because I really do think they're covering the 1.5. But I've been on it all week. I've been on it all season. Brian hates Jalen Hurts, but I love Jalen Hurts. His rushing yards is going to hit in this game. Now, I've seen the line fluctuate here, there, and over there. Brian, do you have the official reading on where we're at for rushing yards? I think it is still going to fluctuate, so I don't want to say a line. That's probably going to be different by Sunday, but whatever. As long as it doesn't get to something egregiously high, take Hurts and his rushing yards. And I do think Saquon has the big day, but Hurts' rushing yards I love it. I love the rushing yard prop.
Yeah, you mentioned Hurts. I thought you were going the direction I went. I have Hurts on the over 211 passing yards. I
Yeah, that's really
trust
low.
that number that the Chiefs not allowing a 100-yard rusher in basically a full season of playoff games. I'm not saying Saquon is not going to have a big day because he will, but I feel like Spagnuolo is just going to really throw everything he has at that run game, and Jalen
He
Hurts is
might
going to have
dial
to
it
throw.
up.
I think Steve Spagnuolo is the X factor in this game. You want to talk about Saquon Barkley? I think that's a huge plus for the Eagles that they didn't have last time. But I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to be the MVP of this game. I think he's really gonna make life hard for Jalen Hurts. And I think you're right. Saquon Barkley is gonna have one of those. It seems like every single game he has a 60-yard touchdown. He might rip one of those. He's that good. But Jalen Hurts is really gonna have to step up to win this game, and I don't see it happening.
It's not even like they just didn't have Saquon in the last game. They didn't have a running game in the last. They had 115 rushing yards against the Chiefs and 57. Jalen Hurts had 70 of those.
I mean, I know Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts
and
threw the
Miles
ball
Sanders
like
was the running back, so
It was
okay.
Sanders and Gainwell both had like 15 rushing yards. So it was a completely different offense, which is another reason like I'm kind of terrified of the Eagles. But they're still the Chiefs.
But you said it. The Chiefs stopped the run. They did it in what, 18 straight playoff
18
games? They
straight
have
playoff games.
18 straight playoff games. They haven't let up a 100-yard rusher. I bet Saquon gets 100 yards. I think his line's somewhere in like the 120s. But is that enough? I don't think so. You're playing Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have to put up points. And I don't trust Jalen Hurts to do it. I really think Steve Spagnuolo makes his life hell. And I'm not betting against Mahomes either. There's that factor too.
It's tough to do. It's tough to do, I understand. But look, the Chiefs are a great team. And it does fall on the quarterback being Patrick Mahomes. Where have the Chiefs this year specifically played a team like the Eagles? Who's the best running back they've faced? It hasn't been like Saquon Barkley because he's the
Second
best.
running back in the league.
Derrick Henry.
Okay. What kind of offensive line have they faced? This Eagles offensive line is the best offensive line in football. You have the best running back, the best offensive line. And then on the other side of football, I think graded the best defense, or the Chiefs have the best defense. I don't know. I know both defenses.
The Eagles' scoring defense is the best.
The Eagles have have the Chiefs really see? And they might have been similar. It might have been close, but have the Chiefs seen this type of team? Vic Fangio dialing it up in the booth. I mean, have they? They haven't. This elevation of elite level on both sides of the football. It might have been close. They haven't seen a team like this Eagles team. They haven't.
Yeah, if you want to know, look,
They haven't, Brian.
The Eagles have the best team on paper. Like, I'll give you that. The offense, defense.
They haven't seen the exciting whites.
They've studs everywhere.
They
Well,
haven't.
you want
To
to
be
know
the first.
You want to know
Sorry,
who might
go
not be
ahead.
a very exciting white? Kellen Moore. I think that he is, if we're calling Steve Spagnuolo, if I'm calling Steve Spagnuolo the X factor here, I think Kellen Moore might be the L factor or whatever it is that loses the Eagles this football game. I don't know if he's going to be able to compete in that chess match with Steve.
There are some question marks surrounding him, and he is somebody, if I had some concerns, would be at the top of my radar of a guy that really needs to come ready to go, really needs to be locked in, really needs to be prepared for this game. I agree 100%, Jack, with the Kellen Moore take. But the Eagles are going to be prepared for this game, and I'm convinced the Chiefs will be overmatched by what the Eagles throw at them. And it will just eventually be too much, and that's why the Eagles will will their way to victory. Again, they might have seen close. I will repeat it, and Brian can sit there with this stank face all he wants. I don't care. The Chiefs haven't seen a team like this Eagles team.
Yeah.
They haven't!
I agree with you. This is the best team they've played, but the underlying issue that you refuse to acknowledge is Jalen Hurts just isn't that guy.
Yes.
And he's a good quarterback, but he's not an elite level quarterback that if Saquon gets taken away, I don't know if I could trust Jalen Hurts. And that's where it's another what's
Dog. We saw it 2 years ago. He lost by 3, And it was his fault. He fumbled the ball in that pointless turnover that he gave away. And then, the holding call was sure, whatever. Was it a hold? Sure. Were they calling it all game? No. But that also killed them as well. You could have called Hurts the Super Bowl MVP in that game with what he put up in that game. So, to throw that game out the window and forget what he did in that game and just say,
horseshoes
and now it's
win.
All because of Saquon Barkley is why they're here. All because of this. All because of that.
Mostly because of Saquon
it's all
Barkley.
Jalen Hurts, and now they have Saquon Barkley. It's the both of them. It's the team. There's no I in team, Brian, and you're forgetting that. Bang!
Also, no I in Hurts, and he's not the guy. But Jalen Hurts is good. If this game comes down to the wire, you cannot tell me with a straight face you'd rather have Jalen Hurts trying to win you the game than you would Patrick Mahomes.
Of course not, Brian.
And that's where if it stays close, I trust the Chiefs more. But the Eagles are better to where they might have the lead. So I don't know. I continue to go back and forth.
Maybe the refs are not as on Patrick Mahomes, because didn't Roger Goodell have to come out and literally say something about how there was something about that. Do you guys know anything about that? I don't know the full story.
The refs have been under fire all week. It's been a disaster at media day for NFL.
Yeah, well, they decided to respond to the comments, and they said that.
So how can you rig this game if it's been
when NFL
Brian
fans
said, at their neck, under fire? I think we see it let up a little bit. The NFL wants to protect the image. They want to protect the brand. This bodes well for the Eagles.
If that's actually a really good point. If they finally let up and give the Eagles a fair shot in this, I'm going to be pissed. Because that means that they've robbed every other AFC team that shot.
I'm talking about what everybody else isn't.
I don't know. I just want to see a good game, and hopefully the Chiefs can win. My biggest fear is Jalen Hurts driving Eagles down the field and winning the Super Bowl and winning Super Bowl MVP, and then dealing with Matt of a whole offseason saying Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league.
I mean, how can you dispute it?
He could.
How would you dispute it?
I could put him at 5.
It'd be really hard.
5.
Don't give him a round table.
If he goes and wins the Super Bowl MVP, you could put him in the top 5.
Would love to see Jack, because Jack gives us his quarterback list annually, and would love to see this quarterback list with Jalen Hurts being the most recent Super Bowl MVP.
I'll tell you right now, he would be number 5,
which is crazy. Pat Mahomes would probably still be number 1, even though Hurts would, again, we're talking hypotheticals, would have hypothetically beat Mahomes. So I don't know, in any world of any imagination, he wouldn't be number 2. Because Mahomes beat Lamar, he beat Josh, he beat this, he beat that. And then Hurts would have, again, hypothetically speaking, have beat Mahomes.
Look, it wasn't too long ago that we were talking about Jalen Hurts as a Brock Purdy. This dude's got so much around him. Best offensive line in the league, best running back in the league, 2 of the best wide receivers in the league. He's a plethora of tight ends.
Miles better than Brock Purdy. Miles, athletics-wise, everything. Miles better than Brock Purdy. So I'm not going to give you that. I agree he has the help, and I agree he has a great team around him. But
which is why he can't jump over a Burrow or a Josh Allen. It's just not happening.
Burrow had Jamar Chase, who had 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns and this, that, and the third. How is that not help?
I mean, it obviously does help, but you look at everything else around him, it's nothing compared to Jalen Hurts. And don't start with that. The Bengals weren't even a playoff team.
It's nothing compared to it. You're absolutely right. And that's fueling more to my fire. They weren't a playoff team. The main thing here is that the ball is in Jalen's court right now. Regardless of who he has on the team, he has help here. He doesn't have help. The ball's in his court. He's ready to go out there and get the job done. So track that, Jack. Get that through your head. Because he's going out there to play for a Super Bowl for the city of Philadelphia with a fire lit under his ass. against Patrick Mahomes and the whoop-de-doo Chiefs. Yeah, I'm ready to go for this
Jack, I
game.
think we've lost Matt. He's evolved into the Philly cesspool of fans.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have. If Burrow is so whip-de-doo good, what does Burrow not have that Patrick Mahomes has, or however you want to word it? Like, how far off are those two teams? We see Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Okay,
let
sure.
me ask
Burrow
you
doesn't
this.
have a good defense. Is there a Jamar Chase on the Chiefs?
Let me ask you this. If Brock Purdy had beat Patrick Mahomes last year in the Super Bowl, are we talking and won Super Bowl MVP, are we talking about him as a top 2 quarterback in this league? Like,
No,
no.
because the fall off was tremendous. The Eagles collapsed at the end of last year. They still started 10-1. The Niners were like 5-12 this year.
Look, I'm saying my point is just because you win Super Bowl MVP doesn't make you a top 2 quarterback.
No, but if he has the statistics wise game that he had 2 years ago, which again would have made him the MVP had they won that game that they were so close to winning, I think does make him at least a top 3. And again, Brian doesn't like the theory, but is beating Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. Again, we're going to go 15 rounds on this because we're not going to agree, and that's fine. But
I think I might have just found common ground with you. If he would have won that game 2 years ago and then won this game now, I would easily say he's the second best quarterback in the league. But he lost that game.
I think that's also a very fair statement. If you got 2 over Mahomes, yeah, I think it'd be almost unquestionable to put him.
We're not going to agree, and I understand your common ground if they won, if they didn't win, and that's fine.
This also
That's
isn't
fine.
just me hating on Jalen Hurts. Like Tom Brady or Eli Manning beat Tom Brady
Though,
twice.
dude. We're talking about Joe Burrow, dog.
I love
like, what
Eli
are we
Manning,
doing?
but I was never clamoring for Eli Manning to be the second best quarterback in the league. I was always saying he was very good at quarterback, which I probably higher on him than most
I'm not
people.
pulling
But
up the stats. Like, you guys don't value the tush push and call it Fugazi, but a touchdown is a touchdown, right? Like, 6 points is 6 points, and the touchdown numbers.
I'm not giving him like props for the tush push.
No, it's not props for the tush push, but it's props for the total touchdowns. And if you look at him, his stats are there, and like it's
because
just like
getting the 1 yard rushing touchdowns instead of the running back, which 31 other teams get.
But they're getting down there, and it's sure like it's not. Sometimes it's Saquon, but Jack even said earlier, Saquon when he scored, it's the 60-yard touchdown run. So I mean, look, guys, we're not going to agree. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Jalen Hurts has rejuvenated this franchise. Howie Roseman has been a big part in helping him get the pieces around him that he needs to be successful and succeed, and that's fine. They know how to get to the Super Bowl. They've done it in two out of the last 3 years. But I'm not going to sit here and throw Jalen Hurts as the 5th best quarterback in football if he wins the Super Bowl, plays very well, has great stats, knocks off Mahomes. I'm just not going to do it. And
you're definitely not going to want to do the opposite if he loses this game where he ends up on the rankings. So let's
probably going to be lower than Trevor Lawrence.
No, definitely not. He wasn't last year. He won't be this year.
Below Trevor.
I mean, again, like I said, there was a lot of questionable stuff all there, and that wasn't even coming from me. So your list, your judgment, you pick, but I would think that's crazy. Let's keep it moving on here, so we don't need to keep going in circles. I obviously believe in Hurts and think he's going to get the job done on Sunday. Another fun prop bet for the game. Potent defenses, but potent offenses. They're humming at a high level right now. An interesting prop has some good values. Both teams to score on the opening drive is plus 500. I don't know if you think that's good. I don't know if you think that's bad. Both teams to score a touchdown on each opening drive, plus 500, maybe worth a sprinkle, get $50 back. I'm not sure what you guys are thinking on that one, but seems like good odds to maybe throw a couple bucks on.
Yeah, that does seem like good odds. That's not my kind of bet. I'm not touching that. I don't think it'll hit, so I definitely won't touch that. But I feel like that's pretty good odds, isn't it?
Well, it's good odds, but my face is more. I'm not going to ruin your bet on the round table, but it is kind of like the bet you took on the round table. So you say it's not your kind of bet is kind of crazy, but I feel like in the Super Bowl they always it takes a while for teams to feel the other team out. So I don't know. I will stay away from that one. I'll go quick here. I am taking Saquon over longest rush, 23.5. I don't love his total rushing yards, but feels like he's always good to break one. Pacheco over 5.5 rushing attempts. Come on, give him 6. Samaje Perine, 25 receiving yards at plus 430. Like he might get in the game a couple times and catch a couple passes, maybe convert a few first downs. Plus
That is your
430.
boy. You love that dude.
I love Samaje Perine. And then I'll be sprinkling Cooper DeJean to win Super Bowl MVP because if the Eagles do win, he will be the first white cornerback to win a ring since Brian Davis in 1988. So truly ending racism. With
As much as I would like to see that happen, that's not happening.
It could.
What does he have to do? Get a game-winning pick six?
2 picks, and maybe Saquon scores 1 rushing touchdown, the defense scores 1, and then Jalen Hurts scores a tush push.
Maybe he can force a fumble. Is he going to be returning punts? I think he did
Yeah,
that.
he returns punts.
So maybe he gets a return touchdown.
There's ways.
Like he's athletic, but he hasn't. I mean, he's had some okay punt returns, but he hasn't really been like an electric punt returner. I don't see it. I don't see it. His punt return
opportunity will be
needs
there.
the opportunity. Sure. What are the odds on that? Plus 25,000.
Higher than the Watson first touchdown. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean,
Just take the Watson touchdown at that point.
if you got $50 you're loading up for bullshit bets, add that into it because that's what it's going to be.
I mean, for what it's worth, Patrick Mahomes, if the Chiefs win it, if they win this game, the odds of him winning Super Bowl MVP are obviously the front runner, but that's what happened the past 2 years. So I think that's a pretty safe bet. What is the number on that? Is it plus money? Is it minus money? If you get that at plus money and you think the Chiefs are going to win, I mean, that's a hell of a bet.
I forget what the odds were. I don't have them written down, but I think they were pretty close to.
And on the flip side, Matt, is there anybody else who would win it besides Hurts? Like really,
Saquon Barkley. I mean,
Saquon
he's the top guy to win it right now.
I think he was plus 230, Saquon.
I think the odds right now are Mahomes, Barkley, Hurts. Hurts is plus 700 to win Super Bowl MVP right now. He's not the favorite. So again, I'm just that confident in Hurts winning this Super Bowl MVP. And look, if it isn't Mahomes, is it going to be Barkley? They don't usually give it to the running back. So
usually, we don't have to go back into this.
We don't have to go back into this, but I think Hurts is winning the Super Bowl MVP, and he's stamping his mark on the league if he hasn't done so already, regardless of the help he has, as a top, whatever we want to call it, quarterback. I won't put a number on it. And that's what I think. So, yeah, for me, Hurts takes home the MVP. I had listed down to silence Brian, but I guess to silence Brian and Jack and all the other haters out there because Hurts is getting it done. And just watch. I know I'm going to die on that hill, and I love it. I will. That's the difference between Philadelphia and everybody else. We will die on that hill.
We know. All right. Can we go to Michael of the Week?
Yeah,
just Brian.
Bet Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. He scored one in his first and third Super Bowl, did it in the second and fourth. This is his fifth. So he's going to score. The pattern.
That's probably I know you got your whole first TD thing going on there, Brian, but that's maybe a sneaky first TD bet as well. But yeah, that's all I have. I love the fire we brought there. Probably one of our better segments. Again, it's all love, regardless of the heated. I don't like when people insult my intelligence. Maybe I got a little carried away. Not trying to go at you, Jack, again. But it's just heated conversation. It's heated talk. It's all love at the end of the day. It's going to be a hell of a game on Sunday. Super Bowl 59 is upon us, if you can't tell. Let's jump into the Michael of the Week. The Mike of the Week. What do you got, Brian? You gave me a head nod.
No, I looked at the time here, and I was gonna say we can hold off Michael until the next show at this point because it is 10-11, and I think the people just are ready for the Super Bowl to start.
I think so too.
Yeah, mine's Super Bowl towards that, the only thing I was going to say, and you guys don't have to go, Donald Trump will be the first ever sitting president to attend the Super Bowl. So that's pretty newsworthy. That's pretty noteworthy. We haven't seen that ever before. The sitting president attend the Super Bowl, which seems weird. Why has that never happened before?
That does seem weird.
First ever.
Huh. Yeah, that is weird.
It is weird. All right, we don't have to get it, but I did think that was pretty big news that a sitting president has never been to the Super Bowl.
That's a good Michael.
Yeah.
That's all I have. I don't know if you guys are giving a mic of the week. Jack's hungry.
Nope.
Ryan's ready to rumble. I'm ready to run through a fucking brick wall. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. It's 10 o'clock. It's Views After Dark. I will catch y'all in the next one. The next time you see me is when the Eagles are Super Bowl champs. Let's go.
And, well, I'll agree with the first part of that statement, but quick programming note will be on Can't Talk. Programming note, next podcast will be Tuesday, not Monday. I'm going to let the boys enjoy the Super Bowl. No recording Sunday. So we'll record Monday, podcast Tuesday.
I think with that drinking game will be a little tough to might be some good content. Definitely some good back and forth. But I don't know. We'll be alive for that. That's all I got. Section 400. I'm Matt, and I'm out.
Sign Pete Alonso.